Welcome to Laricy Live. You want to know what's happened in the real estate market? Then this show is for you. I'm your host, Matt Laricy. Okay, so today we are discussing what happened in 2021, and we are calling this one a year in review. So essentially, we're going to talk a little bit about what happened in 2021 as we are looking into the new year. 2020 was a tough year. 2021 was also a tough year, and hopefully 2022 is going to be better. So we got some questions here. Let's discuss them and kind of get into detail on what happened this year. So how would you compare 2021 to 2020? 21 was definitely better than 20, I'll tell you that. Our sales were up. I mean, 2020 was the greatest year we've ever had. We did over $203 million. This year we're on pace to, 275-ish. So it's a substantial growth. But I will say it was easier for us to sell a lot of the product this year than it was last year. But about 50 to 60% of the markets that we work were still extremely difficult. So, it's getting better, though. Inventory levels are dropping consistently, and I think they're going to continue to do so. Was 2021 as you expect it to be? I said that 2021 would be the great migration back to cities. And that's kind of what it was. We saw the little buildings pick up, and we saw the single-family home sales get crazy. And then we saw, the high-rise market was dead, but it wasn't as dead as it was in 20. So things are definitely shaping up to be better, just not as good as it should be in a normal year. Was there anything that surprised you about 2021? Not really. Not sound like a total douche, but I mean, we did kind of think what was going to happen happened. The only thing that I think that maybe surprised me a little bit is I thought more people would have been back to the office, and I think that's probably the only thing that I really thought we'd be at like 50% by now, and I think we're around 25-30%. So I think it's getting better, but that's the only thing I would say I'm surprised about. What were your sales goals, and you think you'll hit them? So this is being shot at the end of this is like mid-November. But I would say that our goal was 250 million closed. Okay, we're hovering around 270-ish closed and pending. So I don't like to call pending part of our final numbers, because all that matters is what actually closes. So we will hit our goal for sure. Unless something crazy happens, like a pandemic. But I think I really think we could have done better, though. We did lose a lot of deals this year. And even though we're going to hit our goal for the first time, I always set these lofty goals where it's always like so far ahead of what we did last year to try to like strive. And this is the first year we're actually going to hit the goal I set. I'm not happy with it. I think we could have done better. I really do. During such a tough year, why do you think Laricy saw so much growth compared to 2020? We kind of set ourselves up to kind of know what was going to happen, and we work hard. I mean, and reality is that like our systems, we have great systems in place to take advantage of busy season, and we work extremely, extremely, extremely hard to take advantage of it. When you're not taking off much time, it's easier, to win in this market. Are you surprised by the amount of growth your team was able to achieve? No, I'm not. I think, like I said, I think we could have done more. So nothing surprises me when it comes to success, because if you work hard enough, I think I expect it to happen, to be frank, because we do put in the time and the hours. I think the biggest thing that I get upset about is I don't care about like how great we did. I care about like how much we left on the table, and that to me is what keeps me up at night. Do you expect to keep growing the same pace year over year? We're going to probably end up growing around, 50-ish closed million this year. I mean, I don't know. That's a pretty high goal to do. So if we do 250 this year, then hit over 300 next year, I think will be tough. But you never know. I'd like to see that growth year over year. Were there any market trends that surprised you during the year? Nothing surprised me with the trends. The only thing that I was hoping on is that the international market would be better. So the trend of like more international people buying here, but the flights just opened like a couple days ago. to get to America. So it's too early to tell if that will pick up. And we were thinking it was going to happen in the fourth quarter. We're in the fourth quarter. We're not seeing a slew of international sales yet, but that's probably the only one that we're thinking that may not hit as hard as we thought it would hit as a trend. Wow. Do you still see the international market comeback coming in Q4? So that answers my question. I still think we're going to see an increase in sales in December with international, not the gangbusters, but I think that market's coming. It's going to happen at some point. We may have been a little ambitious with when we thought it would happen, but it's coming. Maybe it's Q1, Q2 next year, but it's going to happen. What is the status of Highrises, and did they make a comeback in 2021? Highrises started the year with almost 24 months of inventory and 12 months in some areas, so it depends on which exact area and what property you have, etc. But let's use 24 months, and then today we're at 7 months of inventory. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a comeback because it never hit a seller's market. It never even came close to a balanced market. But, I look at stats. So when people tell me, well, I have a high rise and it's sold in a day, I'm like, okay, well, we sell high rises in a day too. I mean, it happens. But I'm saying, what is the likelihood overall of a high rise to sell? Right now, today, it's about 7 months of inventory for high rises, and there's 142 days average on the market, okay? So that's just stats. If you do less than that, it's great. If you do more than that, it is what it is. But I wouldn't say it's a complete comeback. I'd say that we've bottomed, and we're now in what I would call the road recovery. And 2022, I'm dubbing as the year of the condo. I think the condo's coming back in 2022. What are other realtors saying about 2021 in Chicago? Most agents are up. Most agents' business is way up. So I think most people say it was a good year. I mean, we saw a lot of people trade. That's what we want. We want volatility. You want trade. So a lot of people bought and sold quicker than they normally would. I mean, I had a lot of clients that bought earlier this year and sold this year. I've never seen that happen before. Well, I shouldn't say never, but I've never seen it happen so much, I should say. So many repeat clients in the same year. It's kind of crazy. What was the worst part of 2021 for the real estate? I would say, obviously the pandemic was the worst part. Crime is a bad part of the market right now. I mean, all this looting and breakings and carjackings and stuff like that, it's affecting the marketplace. It's pushing a lot of people out of the city. So I would say that's the worst part that's affecting the real estate market today. What's the best part of 2021 in real estate? Exact opposite. We're seeing people come back. We're seeing confidence come back in the city. So, although there's some negativity out there, I feel like the positivity is overshadowing the negativity. And, we are seeing people want to come back. I mean, man, I feel like lately, the last 6-7 weeks, all I've been doing is being with out-of-state and empty nesting buyers, and that's been a big trend that we haven't seen. So I think those are the best parts, is the confidence coming back to the city. Which neighbors do you think saw the most growth in Chicago? West Town, Wicker Park, Bucktown, Lincoln Park, and Lakeview. So those areas, small buildings, single-family homes is not the only sale we have. It's it's probably about 25% of our sales. So it's a pretty good portion, and that's a great market to have. But some people who only sell single families probably crushed it, because the single family homes was literally probably the hands down the most growth, because there's just no inventory of those. A lot of people wanted more space, and there's just nothing of them out there. What types of properties were the hardest to sell this year? Hands down, high rises. I mean, that's not even a question. We don't need to beat that bush. Did any of your team members surprise you this year? Man, I got to tell you, Matt Piazza, that kid has been doing really good this year, and he definitely does not put in the hours like everybody else does. He surprises me that he just comes out of nowhere and he just gets a random $2 million sale he's a big networker. That's what he claims he does when he's not working, is networking. But he's probably the biggest surprise to me, and I think that's, everybody has different ways to get business. What's the most important lesson you learned this year? So I learned, I learned so much. I think at the beginning part of the year, I really thought we could get away with 2 assistants, and then I realized that we need another assistant. I learned that we need to prep harder in the fourth quarter to take advantage of the first 2 quarters of the year, which is what we're doing now. So I learned that lesson to try to prepare for it. Try to learn to cool my temper more. That's probably never going to change, but I'm working on it. There's so many lessons out there. The big lesson right now too is court systems. The court systems are closed, so we've seen a lot of deals die day of closing. So we're trying to instill more fear into people that like want to try to flip flop on deals. So those are probably the biggest lessons I've learned. And I'm always trying to learn. I'm a human being. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes every day. And I think the main thing is when you make a mistake is that you have to take accountability. And I think that makes a difference between a winner and a loser. A winner is going to take accountability for their actions and try to change, and a loser is going to blame everybody else. I'll tell you, I've made, a few big mistakes that's cost me some sales and deals and clients. And I've admitted when I was wrong, and I know that those people hated me and they swore at me and yelled at me and belittled me and made me feel like I was 2 feet tall. But at least in my mind, I left the relationship and I took accountability for my actions. Whether or not those people appreciate that, I will never know because I've never talked to them again since then. But I'm at least proud of the fact that I will always take accountability for a mistake that I make. What was the biggest challenge for you in 2021? Managing sellers' expectations for high rises. That's probably been the biggest one. It's been an extremely difficult market. There is so much stress and pressure on those types of properties, and it's just incredibly difficult to sell. And at the end of the day, my sellers just don't care, and I don't blame them. I mean, they're hiring us for a job, and we're not doing the job. So they're going to be pissed when the job is not done. So the challenge is managing expectations while keeping them in a relationship. And some of these people you have a fantastic relationship with, and then they fire you. And, it hurts when you know that you like somebody and they like you, and then they don't like you anymore, and then you have to know that they hate your guts. And that's just something you have to live with. And it's a challenge that we have to have as realtors working in this business, and that's just the way it is. And unfortunately, it's going to happen. It's going to happen to everybody. And, it's the fall down 7 times and stand up 8. Just the role you got to do. You got to roll with the punches. Do you have a favorite memory of 2021? Nothing in particular. I think I appreciate everything that's happened in the business as an overall. And for me, my memory this year on the business side is going to go down as I'm proud that we've grown and we didn't shrink. That's one thing I could say for sure. How did the Laricy team grow in 2021? We talked about that. What are you looking forward to most about 2022? The year of the condo. As I've said, 2022 is going to be the year of condo. We're going to play this on repeat 6 months from now when the condo comes back. Because the way I look at it is that we had a great year in growth. And 50% of the market I work as Highrises, or the heart of the city. It's a big portion of my market, okay? And the fact that they had probably one of the worst years in the history, and we still grew this much, I can't wait to see what happens next year when we have all those listings and the market's back for that. Which trends did you predict for this year that 100% came true? We talked about how people would use public transportation again, which has happened. We said that people would come back to the city again, which is happening. We said that the outskirts would grow at a substantial rate, which has happened. We said single-family home sales would be hot. That happened. We said interest rates would remain low. That happened. We said inventory would be a problem in smaller buildings. That happened. We said the suburbs would be really hot. That happened. So, I think the biggest thing that we said that hasn't happened yet is the international market. I think that's been the only one that we said that hasn't happened. So, we're not the smartest people in the room. We just look for patterns and we try to predict the market from there. So if you pay attention to these podcasts and you hear me babble about this stuff, I'm just watching what happens in the market. I'm like Patton. I'm on the front lines. I could tell you which way the wind's going to blow. I could tell you which way our troops need to go. I could tell you which weaknesses we have, and I try to alter them. Somebody that's sitting in their chair, a half of a world away can't tell me what's happening in the front lines because they're not seeing it the way I'm seeing it. What was your favorite home sale of 2021? We've had some really, really big sales. I don't want to say that one is better than the other because that would be me favoriting somebody over somebody else. I can say that I think every interaction we had was superb, and I would say that we tried to do our best by every person that we closed, and I think that no matter if you're selling a $150,000 sale or you're closing a $10.5 million sale, sure, it's the 10.5 is sexier because you make more money, but the $150,000 person is exciting too because it's their first purchase. So we don't discriminate towards prices. We of course, we love big and small ones, but at the end of the day, we're in a relationship building business, and we want to make sure that the consumer has the best experience. And to me, is that the best sale is the one where at the end, the consumer said that they felt that we did a really good job by them, and they can't believe how easy it is, which is a big thing our clients say, and that's something we like to hear, is that we made their life easy. So to me, that's always going to be the best. Did you buy any investment properties this year? Not yet. I might buy one more. I can be honest with you. I got it's like a ex-girlfriend you can't get rid of on my back. My 500 West Superior 2110 I'm putting back on the market. Until I sell that, I'm not buying anything else. I couldn't sell it last year due to the pandemic. It's coming back on in about a month. If I get rid of that, I'll buy a couple more investment properties. Until then, I'm done with real estate for a little bit. So I got enough of it. Did you learn anything from other agents this year? I don't. I get ideas from other agents, and I talk with agents all the time. I can't think of like one that stood out the most more than others, but I try to collaborate as much as I can, and I try to share my ideas. That's why we do these podcasts, and that's why I talk with other agents all the time. But I don't know of one, I can think of off the top of my head, but I can tell you that I think it's always important that we try to learn and grow, because that's the only way that we're continue to get our business even bigger next year. Do you think your Laricy rebrand helped performance this year? Yeah, I mean, at the start of this year, we pivoted from MLG, my Laricy group, to just Laricy, and we did different divisions, and I think it helped us land the development that we got. We got our first big development this year. I think it helped us grow our social media. I mean, we've grown our social media presence by 50%. Our views have gone up 50%. Our listings are selling more on social media because of it. So I think it was a success, and we got a lot of ideas with what's going to happen in the future on this. Maybe we'll get some merch going, right, Paul? Get some merch and got some more cool stuff. Yeah, let's get this hat. Look at this. We're making winter hats here. Check these things out. If you guys want one of these, just shoot us a message. We'll give these to you. We got all different types of stuff coming out. Going to kind of create some more cool stuff with the brand, get it out there more. What marketing changes are you making after this year? Probably change up. We change up everything next year. We have a lot of different plans that we're going to do. I don't want to ruin them right now, but we're definitely getting more into, promoting Reels and TikToks and things like that. I mean, I don't go on either or watch either, but they're huge right now. And just because I don't like something doesn't mean everybody else doesn't like something, right? So, like, we're looking at stuff. I talk to, younger people all the time to see what they're watching more. And, we're trying to alter things. We're just trying to always stay ahead of the curve and change things up a little bit, and we're trying to figure out more ways to even make our listings stand out more. And I think we got some really cool ideas that we'll be announcing after the first of the year. What trends do you notice changing in the real estate world during 2021? I think the biggest thing that is going to alter real estate in the future is showings. I did notice this year and last year, but this year even more than last year. I'm sure next year is going to be even more than this year. Is on-demand showings. It drives me nuts. I hate on-demand showings. I literally despise them more than anything in the world. If you ask me, the one thing that I think may kill me in real estate is on-demand showings. People call you literally, like right now it's 9:30, and they'll say, I want to see something at 9:45. And when you can't show it to them in 15 minutes, people go ballistic. And it just drives me crazy and puts me in such a bad mood, because I'll get like 10 of those calls a day. And by the 10th person that calls me and says, I want to be in there in 15 minutes, and it's 9:45 at night, it just you're kind of burnt out at the end of the day of like just getting talked down to and belittled. And sometimes I'll lose my temper. I'm a person. I can only be talked down to so many times. And the on-demand showings is going to change the business, and the people who could figure it out are going to be the ones that win. And as much as I hate it, as much as I despise it, as much as it makes me want to flip this table over, I realize that, listen, just because I don't like something and I don't like change with the system doesn't mean that I can let it go, or I can just like not do it, because that's where the business is going. So yes, I hate on-demand showings, but I know it's the wave of the future. So I am altering our business model completely to try to make sure that we're able to be able to accommodate showings in 15 minutes, because that's what's going to happen. And the people who are able to accommodate those are going to win, and the people who aren't are going to lose, and the people who hate them and bitch about them are going to be the ones that don't succeed. So I'll hate them, I'll bitch about them, but I'm going to put systems in place to do it. I don't have to like every part of the business, guys. Just like everybody else, there's things that are going to drive you nuts. This drives me crazy, but I want to stay in real estate, and I want to continue to grow. So guess what? You adapt or you die, and that's something that we're going to do. Did home prices increase or decrease in Chicago this year? Depends on what part of Chicago. Okay, you're selling a single-family home, they went up. Selling a 2 to 3 unit building, it went up. You're selling a high-rise or something in the heart of the city, it went down. So it's just $2 million plus penthouse in the city probably went down a little bit. Although penthouses are making a big comeback right now. But I mean, overall, the market the overall value has not gone up or down that much. We're Chicago. We're slow and steady growth. What market time would you expect it to? Was market time what you expected it to be? Yeah. I mean, on average, the city's still around like 80-ish days average, okay, across the whole like downtown markets. Certain was as high as 140, 150, but everything kind of went to where we thought it would go. We talked where the market time would be, and it landed exactly where we were, and we talk about this in our quarterlies and stuff like that, so I'm not surprised by it. What neighborhoods did you get the most amount of listings this year? Highrises. River North, Gold Coast, Reedville, Old Town, New East Side, parts of South Loop, parts of West Loop. That's where we have the most inventory, and that's where we have the most inventory not to sell, and that's why I'm so excited for next year because, again, guys, 2022, the year of the condo, it's coming back. I think those sales, we have hundreds, literally hundreds of sales or listings in those areas that didn't sell that we're putting on next year, and I'm excited to see what happens there. I'm actually really, really excited. What's the suburb market a surprise this year? No, we knew the suburb market would be really hot. I don't think the suburb market's be as hot next year. I'm not saying it's gonna be bad. I think it's still gonna be really good. It's just not gonna be as good as it was this year. Suburbs at some point is gonna slow down. How would you rate your performance in 2021? Well, I mean, I grew, and we're gonna grow over $50 million. So I would, if I was on a grade scale, I'd give myself an A+. If you grow over $50 million in a year, and the year before that you did over $200 million in the city, I'd say that's an A+ performance. But guess what? Me personally, I'll give it a B. I'll give myself a B because I think we could have done over $300 million. I think there were some big deals we could have had. I think there were some big developments I could have scored. I just feel like I think I could have got it. I don't know why. I just feel like it could, and I think you can always improve. So I'll give myself a B rating. I think overall we should get an A+, but personally I'll give it a B. What were your biggest frustrations of 2021? People's attitude, just attitude in general. People are locked up more. People are just jerks more. I got to tell you, I don't think I've ever, agents, buyers, sellers, clients, everybody, like the way people talk to you this year is not as bad as last year, but it's still pretty bad. I think people need, I don't think people understand how to talk to people anymore because it's been almost like 2 years that they haven't been having as much social interactions. So the passive aggressive, the rudeness, the belittling and stuff like that has been terrible. I'm not saying like we get it all the time, but I'm just saying like it's a lot worse now than it's ever has been. And I'm a big boy. I mean, I could take it. I got thick skin. I don't care. But I would say like it's just annoying some days if you have a bad day and you get 10 people putting you down for God knows what. It could lead you to a frustrating day. Who took the most vacations day this year? Matt Piazza. Not even close. He's gonna win this. We count the days off here. He's hands down in the lead there. Although there's a couple dark horses keeping up on him. We got a guy Luvano who we call Lou and Catherine. They're all up there. It's possible. It's gonna be we'll see what happens. It's the end of the year coming up here. Of course, I'm coming in at the first place for least amount of days off as usual. But I like counting the days off. How did the Laricy team push the envelope in 2021? We spent more on marketing. We perfected our systems more. We invested more in staff. We invested more in advertising. We invested more on the marketing side. I mean, we've rebranded completely and literally took everything that we did as we headed in this year and turned it upside down and redid it. And it paid off by a $50+ million increase in sales. And I think we're going to try to do the same thing next year. We're going to look at everything we're doing. We're going to change it. Were there any listings that surprised you this year? No. Craziest real estate story from this year. Man, we had a property that was closing, and the craziest one we had is that we did a cash sale on a property, and the people were supposed to close on the day of closing. It was a Friday, and they said the funds didn't get there in time. And they wanted to move in. This guy was buying it for his daughters that were going to DePaul University. So we let them move in, even though myself and my attorney told us not to let them move in, but they let them move in. And then we were going to close Monday. And then Monday came around, and the guy's funds weren't there. And he said they would be there by Wednesday. Now the people's, guy's daughters are living there. We're like, okay, we're going to let you go to Wednesday, but you got to close Wednesday, Now people are starting to get a little nervous. People are like, I don't know. Maybe he's not going to close, But now, of course, he'll close. Who would lie about that, right? So Wednesday rolls around. The guy doesn't have any money, guys. And he claims it's coming. Now he's calling me. He's calling my assistants. He's calling the seller directly. He's calling all attorneys. He's saying he's got the money. He's crying on the phone. Don't kick the daughters out, etc. So we tell him, hey, by Friday, now we're a week later. You got to close this property. We're going to kick your daughter and them out. Well, Friday hits, and lo and behold, guys, doesn't have the money. So now we called the cops. We're going to get him over there. Guy races over there to meet the seller and says, hey, please don't kick my daughter out. I promise you. Begged her, started crying. I'll have the money by Monday, and I'll close the property. So on Monday rolls around. We're about 10 days past when we were supposed to close. Guy doesn't got his money. Had to get the cops there. Cops helped the girls pack up their stuff. They got out of there. And, that was it. I don't know what the end game play was that. The guy scammed everybody. He had he created fake proof of funds. He gave us a fake number of somebody who acted like it was his banker. I mean, it was the strangest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't think anything's ever going to top that. I don't know why he would do that to his daughter and his daughter's friends. My seller felt bad kicking him out. Frankly, I didn't feel that bad because they were trying to steal a property. I don't think I will ever top that story. And nothing happened with the property. It was not damaged. We did end up selling the property for more, so the seller was actually happy. And I will say that is hands down the craziest story that we've seen in 2021, and I think that's going to go down in the record books. Let's see here. Did you see the fall push you expected to see? We did. I don't think it was as strong as we thought it was going to be, but it was pretty strong. How many transactions do you think you're going to close in 2021? I think we're going to do about 600 sales. I think we'll probably close about 510 to 520-ish, which would be a little over 110 properties more than last year. Did you make any changes to your property marketing strategy this year? Yeah, total changes. I mean, just a slew of changes. Change the way we promote them, the types of ad we produced, how often we send them out to brokers, how often we call people on them, and it's worked out well. We've had a really good success rate. Did you miss going to real estate events? Nope. I don't miss going to real estate events at all. I'll go when I can, but I got to be honest with you, they happen at 6 o'clock, and 6 o'clock's prime showing time, and I got a lot on my plate. I always look at it, would I rather get more business or would I rather socialize? So, I mean, it's good to go to meet other brokers and talk with them and kind of put your face out there and, get to know other people better. So it is important to go to those, but I don't miss it. What's the one thing that you didn't do this year that saved you a lot of time? Closings. I don't go to closings anymore, and I'm never going to go to closings again. And I'll tell you right now, I'm probably saving 20 to 25 hours a week. It's a lot of hours I'm saving, and I bring zero value. I bring negative value sitting at a closing. So I think that's one thing the pandemic changed, and I think it's going to definitely improve our business. What do you hope returns next year? I think I hope the international market returns. I hope the condo market returns. I hope high-rises return. I hope more people return. I hope more people going back to the office returns. I hope crime decreases. I hope city comes back. That's what I want. I mean, we're in a slow comeback. I want a full comeback. We're in recovery mode. I want this to speed up. How did your team use the end of 2021 to prep for next year? Unfortunately, one of our main assistants is leaving. She's moving to Texas, so we're interviewing a new assistant. We're interviewing new agents to try to prepare to thinking that we're going to be busier. We're looking at our systems and thinking about how we can improve on it next year. We're creating new checklists, closing checklists, buyer checklists, all this stuff. So, yeah, we're doing everything we can right now to try to take advantage of next year. Describe 2021 in one word: recovery. That's it. 2021 was the year of the recovery. Come back. Great migration came back. The market's recovering. The city's recovering. We're not back yet, but it's coming back. We'll call 2022 the year of the comeback. It's going to be the year of the condo, guys. Stay tuned for it. Thanks for listening to Laricy Live. Make sure to tune into our next episode and subscribe to our podcast. Thanks for listening to Laricy Live.